It's going to be the first two episodes of Marvel's Hawkeye that just recently dropped on Disney Plus. So we haven't talked to each other yet about our reaction. So you guys hearing our opinions is going to be the first time we've heard each other's opinions as well.
Yeah.
So what did you think of these first two episodes?
So I'm in a weird spot when it comes to these two episodes. So one thing that threw me off, it was a little bit more like it didn't take itself as seriously as like we're used to when it comes to Marvel. And the first episode kind of threw me off because like the fight choreography wasn't great, and Kate Bishop got really lucky in that first episode.
Yeah.
Like any other like peak human, they probably would have died. But at the same time, it's like she's not a real vigilante or crime fighter yet. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, she got extremely lucky, but I think the whole point is to build her up.
Yeah. I feel
Like, and as soon as
yeah.
like that's being processed and like once you have that information like settling in your mind a bit, like it's a little easier to accept. But that was something that was going on. Like, okay, there were plenty of moments where she should have died.
Yeah. One part that I felt was that I kind of expected it because it would be more grounded and a bit more serious because it was dealing with more grounded threats like the tracksuit mafia. I expected to kind of have a vibe more akin to maybe not Daredevil, but like Black Widow, where they were jokes in Black Widow, but they still took this situation seriously.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, like this means something. Like this is like Natasha facing her past is like this is tough. Like this is not gonna be easy. And like while her and Yelena they like joke together, like outside of that, she's a fairly serious person.
Yeah.
And then obviously in Daredevil, you like Matt is also like pretty serious. Even in the times where he is joking, it's not like overly joking.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected this to have more of a vibe to one of those two because of the fact that we're dealing with Hawkeye confronting his Ronin persona, which I mean, I'm kind of surprised that no one in that auction put together that oh, the Ronin suit was found in the ruins of the Avengers compound. I wonder if this means potentially one of the Avengers was Ronin.
Yeah. Well, you know that there's a lot of conspiracies in like the Marvel universe surrounding them. Like you know the conspiracy that Tony Stark was it Tony? No, it was Cap
Yeah,
that's
Captain.
staying on the moon.
Yeah, Captain America's
Like
on the moon, which we don't know isn't true yet. We have yet to see him post Endgame. For all we know,
do not fuel
him
fuel these. Do not.
I mean, listen, Nick Fury's in space. For all we know, Cap is up there on the moon just chilling.
Do not give these any credibility. I refuse to let you go any further with this.
Listen, we haven't seen Cap post Endgame. He may be there. He may be on the moon. But anyways, I'm still genuinely surprised that not one person has brought up the fact that the Ronin outfit and weapons were found in the Avengers compound. And I'm like, someone has to ask, was Ronin an Avenger?
Well, I mean,
like I know not in the public sphere, but I feel like at least one of like the tracksuit mafia should be like, yo, bro, what if one of the Avengers was Ronin? Like it was at the compound, bro. Like, come on.
But yeah, this is a little more jovial than what we're used to in the MCU, which
I wouldn't say from what we're used to, more jovial for what we expected to be a more grounded series, I should say.
Yeah. Because this is, I guess you are right. Because I could compare this to like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like you can compare this to the original Ant-Man and how it was a little more lighthearted.
But you kind of expected that with Ant-Man because of how ridiculous of a concept Ant-Man is.
Yeah.
But dealing with like a vigilante that's like more like down to earth with like no superpowers like Daredevil or even like Batman where you kind of expect a sense of seriousness.
Yeah, especially like with all like because especially with Black Widow, that being the closest thing we can reference as far as the style that we're used to with characters like this.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought it was a little jokey, but I did like One, I do like how Kate isn't like she's a happy, and I say happy in quotation marks, where in the sense that she's very loosely a happy person, but you can tell she's a very unhappy person,
Yeah.
which I kind of like because like she only really shows genuine displays of like happiness around Clint and like her friends. But like when you see her alone or you see her with her family, she's just like a generally unhappy person, which I'm like, it's a little refreshing considering what she's gone through.
I mean, she pretty much just gets rid of like her darker side of her personality and just immediately becomes a
Yeah.
fangirl.
And I think that's probably because it probably represents one of the last good moments in her life, which was seeing Hawkeye. Which, by the way, the shot that took out her, like, the Shatari, like, speeder that was headed towards her, was the shot Clint made in the Avengers where he was not looking. The behind the back shot that he makes when he doesn't look at what he's shooting. That shot is the shot that blows up the speeder headed towards her house.
Yeah,
If you do like the shot comparison of which
because
one it was.
they really do try to replicate it from different angles, like what we saw in 2012.
Yeah. So that one was definitely yeah. First theory. What do you think of the theory that Eleanor killed her husband during the Shatari invasion for the insurance money?
So we're gonna go that deep already, huh?
So the reason
Because
why, and I thought about this when watching it, I thought it was very weird how she kept screaming mommy and daddy and no one responded for an extended period of time, despite the penthouse not being that large.
yeah, like she definitely gives off some weird vibes throughout the entire like 2 episodes. Like,
Like, part of me is like, you took way too long to respond. Like, and you know, like her dad, like the last thing her dad says to her is like, "I'll do what I always do and protect you." Yet conveniently, when aliens drop from the sky, this man is missing, and then he's dead off screen.
yeah, and we do get some. I don't want to say vague hints. Like I can't pinpoint an exact like example, but something's telling me I can't quite put my
That she's sus.
that she knows something. She definitely knows something, and I can't put my finger on it to
For,
save my life.
like, what was it during the auction? She knew that was happening. I refuse to accept she did not know that black market auction was happening. And I will also go on to say that the fact that she knew that there was a the fact that she mentions black market auction that was taken over is weird because to our knowledge that is never said on the news. In the two news reports we see, it focuses on Ronan's reappearance fighting mobsters in the streets,
Yeah,
not that they invaded a black market auction. How would that even become public knowledge? That was a black market auction. This
yeah.
was a charity event filled with socialites. How do see sus?
Yeah.
She's sus. I think Jack is the red herring
You know what? I could see it.
because in the comics he's the swordsman who that's it. I think his name is just swordsman or swordsmaster. In the comics, he teaches Clint how to use melee weapons and eventually becomes an anti-hero and then he becomes a member of the Avengers at one point.
Okay.
So part of me thinks that they're not going to make him the villain, but that he's being set up to be one, but Eleanor's the villain. And I think what's going to happen is that like Kate's going to realize he's innocent and they're going to grow closer and you're going to find out Eleanor's evil. The only wrench in it is when Armand tells him, "You don't have $450,000." And he's like, "But I will come to inherit it," which was like, that sounds like
Yeah.
That was a little,
Which was
that's a little sussy right there.
yeah. Which I'm like thinking like, does he not have like that is a very weird line to me because like he's in like a massive social group and I'm like it's really getting the gears turning in my head
Yeah,
because
because
like
Armand is his uncle, and Armand is rich.
there we go.
Like Armand the third is his uncle, which I'm guessing that means Armand the seventh, the little kid, is probably like his fucking cousin or something. But like, if that's his uncle, and his uncle is fucking loaded, and he is dating Eleanor, who's also loaded, and he is clearly a cultured individual. He does not seem like someone that just came off the streets. He seems like someone that came from
yeah,
he
that's
has high cultural capital and social capital.
like yeah, he doesn't seem like someone who
Would be
lifted
poor.
lifted themselves up by the bootstraps type person.
Exactly. He seems like someone that grew up sophisticated. So the fact that he says you don't have that type of
Like
money and
that's
he
that
says that he's
kind
going
of
to inherit it, I'm like,
yeah, that line was a little weird. And so it's like I kind of it was kind of difficult for me to interpret it.
yeah, but I still feel like he's being set up as a red herring.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to be like I feel like he's going to become Kate's confidant. Because the only other character that we could see outside of Clint that could become it is her friend Greer that we see in the beginning of the episode. Because in the comics, Greer becomes the superhero Tigra, who ends up marrying Star Fox. Actually, back to Harry Styles. It's all connected. But yeah, so her friend will become the superhero Tigra, which I don't think we're going to explore that origin story on the show at all.
Yeah.
But like maybe if we get a Hawkeye season 2, we'll get Tigra. But
No, and that's I don't think so, and that's another thing because it's clearly obvious that he wants to retire.
yeah, so no, well, if it's a Hawkeye season 2, it's going to be about Kate because she also has the codename Hawkeye
Fair enough. That precedent has been established with Captain America. So
for not being Steve Rogers. So we could definitely get a Hawkeye season 2, and it's just about Kate.
yeah,
But yeah, Eleanor sus. Eleanor is way too sus for me. I so I know in the comics it was her dad that was involved with organized crime, and her mom but wasn't anyone major, was just someone involved but not major. But I'm wondering, since they killed off her dad, they're giving her mom that subplot,
yeah.
which would be interesting.
Because I mean, with Phase 4, we have seen a lot of, or not a lot of, but significant divergences from like antagonists. Like we do have that example with the Power Broker, where
Yeah,
they use someone entirely different that has never been the Power Broker in the comics that I'm aware of.
yeah. Because some people are theorizing that she's going to be the Madame Mask of the MCU, which, to my knowledge, in the comics, she's not Madame Mask. She's just affiliated with her.
Yeah,
Which, it wouldn't be the first time where we've just had characters just become characters. Yeah, like you said,
I mean,
the Sharon being the power broker and Falcon the Winter Soldier is not based in the comics at all.
and another example, I believe they recreated Ego as a character entirely.
Yeah, Ego isn't a celestial in the comics. He's a living planet.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's not a celestial at all. So yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. Um, what was I? What I was gonna say? Oh yeah, what did you think of the watch was that they found?
that that is also interesting because like that was one of the key items like that the tracksuit mafia was looking for because
Yeah,
they clearly made they clearly filmed it to make it a key focal point for the audience.
yeah,
So it's like the only thing you can think of is anything associated with Stark Industries.
yeah. And we know that in Civil War, Tony had like his repulsor watch that he could turn into like armored. But the thing is that the watch that we see does not look like the one from Civil War. So maybe it's a different model or something.
Could be.
But
I mean,
I'm just sitting here and I'm also like, wow. Did no one, like, did the damage control just do a shit job cleaning up? How is this shit out in the open?
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, like, they did a better job cleaning up New York.
Yeah.
Like,
And
only one faction of criminals was able to come in and keep any materials that they kept from the Battle of New York.
Which was basically Vulture's group. Because the other two groups that we know that use Shatari stuff, one was a New York Fire Department precinct that died in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the other were two people that got recruited by Jasper Sitwell in a one-shot.
Yeah.
So, how the fuck did you screw this one up?
Yeah. And
Because if you're going to the Battle of New York, you have Vibranium from the Wakandans. You have Stark Tech, Ronin shit. There's Asgardian weapons. There's Shatari weapons. There's Sakaran weapons. There's Ravager weapons.
And also
Mystic Arts shit.
And also, Avengers is still under supervision of the government because of the Sokovia Accords. So it's cool.
I mean, but there's no team anymore.
Is there not?
I mean, think about it. Hawkeye is officially retired.
I mean, he's retired.
Tony's dead. Captain's dead. Widow's dead. Vision's dead. Wanda's a criminal. Hulk is a celebrity. Rhodey still works for the military. Sam went back to the military. Bucky works for the military.
Yeah, I guess.
Captain Marvel is in space. I mean, there is no team anymore. Most of them either work for the government, don't exist on Earth anymore, or are retired.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Thor is also in space, too.
Yeah.
There is no team.
Because really, yeah, the only organized group is under Doctor Strange. That's really the only group we have left on Earth, I guess.
Yeah, and the events of Far From Home haven't even happened yet in the MCU by this point, so Spider-Man is...
He's still an outcast, yeah.
And he was only made an Avenger on Thanos' ship, but not to the public. He was there at the final battle, but fucking everyone was at the final battle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is no Avengers anymore.
Yeah.
Happy, you fucked up. Happy fucked up hard because he let so much shit get fucking stolen. You would think after the Stark Tower debacle in Homecoming that they, Happy would get a grip on making sure stuff doesn't get fucking stolen, but clearly not.
Nice job going. Clearly, someone needs to hire a new chief security officer.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you think Armor Wars, the prompt of Armor Wars, where the people say Stark Tech getting in the wrong hands, is people looting the Battle of New York from Avengers Endgame and finding Stark Tech?
Oh my god.
Because if the criminal underworld can gain access to a Stark watch, the Ronin outfit, and Ronin weapons, I think they could find some Stark Tech lying around.
I would just like to move on because that's
the more you talk about it, the more you realize, oh god, they really did not do anything good in the aftermath of Endgame. They did not do anything to ensure the safety of the future. They either died or fucked off to who knows where.
Literally, the only good thing was passing down the torch of Captain America at this point. That's the only remainder of the Avengers that we've got at this point.
Yeah, Cap is I'm old, I'm gonna go back in time, and I'm not gonna consider the consequences of any of my actions henceforth. Yeah. So, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, the Avengers really made this place a shittier place once they left. They're like, 3.5 billion people back on Earth? Bye.
Yep.
God damn. Okay, but back to the episodes at hand. What did you think about the LARP?
I think it worked. I think it
I
worked solely because of like Kate Bishop was right when she said like she's like
he needs to be.
Clint's a hard ass
Yeah,
basically like
you could tell in the end he had fun.
yeah.
But I do love he's like, for the love of God, please kill me. And I'm like, huh. The past three pieces of media we've seen Clinton, he's been begging people to kill him. First Endgame, then that What If episode with Ultron, and now this. Do you think Clint wants to kill himself?
Oh god, no, he's still got it. Well, he has a family in this iteration.
Yeah, but it's so funny how the past three times it's just like,
Like
no,
this,
I gotta die.
like this whole series is just a dad who wants to spend the holidays with his kid. Please, just let him have it.
Yeah, okay, so we got 4 episodes left and 5 days.
Yeah,
I think Kit's coming to the Christmas party.
fair enough.
She's
Yeah.
probably gonna end up at the Christmas party. But anyway, so one problem that I have so far is with the tracksuit mafia. It's not that they're not intimidating. I love them.
Oh, yeah, they're great. Like,
It's just my problem I have is they've shown us Clown. He's the guy that doesn't speak with a Russian accent.
yeah,
He was the guy that was saying like "Find the watch." They've shown us Clown, and he has done fuck all in the 2 episodes. In the comics, Clown is like a psychotic mercenary that gets hired by like the New York underworld as like a hitman. He's usually called alongside people like Bullseye or like Maya Echo. So like he's usually called along those. And like so far, like the most he's done is Mr. Barton can't come to the phone right now. And I'm like, I mean, I was expecting him to fight Kate and like kind of beat her, but they didn't really fight.
yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure he was the one member of the mafia in the 2 episodes that she's encountered that she didn't fight.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, got 4 episodes left. We need this man to do something.
Like, I feel like with like the tracksuit mafia, they could definitely like make them to the point where like, yeah, these are villains, but I kind of like them. Like, they could totally market these villains like that.
Yeah,
Like,
like
it's totally possible with personalities like that.
yeah, I like them. I think I'm just so far I'm just a little disappointed that they're using Clown as a member of the mafia and not utilizing him. Like he seems more like an underboss than like a hitman.
Yeah, because like they're clearly like in the interrogation scene, they seem like they don't know what they're doing, but in a not a bad way, but like a written kind of smart, but it has a bit of a like they built a foundation to create like weird characters
Yeah.
like that are still kind of likable as villains.
Yeah, like Ivan and Enrique, the two of them, it was like, it's like, listen, I couldn't find a good warehouse. Like, gentrification is happening everywhere. like, like, come on. Like, I like those two, but
Like the foundation is there to make them like likable characters,
yeah,
but we may get those in the next episodes. Who knows?
maybe because like maybe I'm just expecting a little bit too much in the first 2 episodes because compared to like the past series that we've got, the first 2 episodes are usually kind of like a little bit packed.
Yeah,
like
first,
giving us a lot of like
first
details.
first half of WandaVision, incredible.
Yeah.
First half of Loki, really good.
Even the first half of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was like really good at like establishing things happening.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier did an amazing job establishing each of the characters' internal thought process and motivations.
Yeah. I feel like with this, I guess I just wanted to see more of the New York underworld be a little bit fleshed out because the most that we've gotten about the New York underworld post Endgame was when at the beginning of Far From Home, Peter accidentally disrupted a mafia cold war when he like tied up all those villains.
Because like a lot of the rogues gallery in Marvel happens in New York because you got Hell's Kitchen, you got all of Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
Yeah,
you have
Luke. You literally have Luke Cage, Iron Fist,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, Avengers Tower, Stark Tower, the Kang Industries, Oscorp. You have fucking everything's in New York City. So like you kind of expect. I don't know. I feel like maybe I just need to see episode 3 and episode 4, and like maybe I'll get what I want in terms of getting a more fleshed out New York underworld. Because like this is the first time we ever found out that like Clint operated in not in North America, in the United States.
Yeah.
Because the 2 times we've heard of him was when he murdered a cartel in Mexico and when he murdered the Yakuza in Japan.
Yeah.
So this is our first time hearing that he like tore apart like the New York underworld, which is kind of like I kind of wish they mentioned that in Far From Home, considering that was one of the first things Peter did when coming back. But also I kind of wish we kind of got a little bit more as to what he did to the tracksuit mafia. Like yeah, he like murdered them, but like did he destabilize them? Like I kind of wish the way they introduced like Clown was that like Clown is like a mercenary that works for them. Clown is like a mercenary, but he was hired to bring stability after Ronin killed like a good portion of like all the good hitmen.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get that. And also, so I'm guessing that Echo is the boss.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm wondering how this is going to work out. Because she can't be the main villain. She's getting her own show. In the comics, she's the original Ronin. She's the lover of Daredevil at one point. Adopted daughter of Kingpin. I'm like, she can't be the big bad here. There gotta be someone higher. But she can't be, she can't be good, but she can't be so bad that when she gets her own series, we can't root for her.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing about this character is that she's deaf. So she communicates through sign language. Meaning a lot of like her personality and how we're going to be able to relate to her is going to come from her expressions and actions. So I'm like, I really want her to be an intimidating figure, but I don't want her to be evil.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to become a little difficult. And in all of this, I'm also wondering, how the fuck is Yelena going to show up? Because she's supposed to be in the show. Because, like, she's one of the only people that knows Clint is Ronin. Because at the end of Black Widow, Val shows her the man responsible for her sister in his Clint in the Ronin outfit. So, I guess I'm a little concerned considering it's only 6 episodes and we're already a third of the way through. And I feel like we don't have much of the plot to go off.
Yeah, because most of the other shows were either 8 or 9 episodes long.
Yeah.
This is surprisingly short. Like, again, we're a third of the way through it, and
we're kind of grasping at what this plot can be. We only have 4 hours left of content.
Yeah, which, mind you, this whole series is going to be 2.5 movies long anyway.
Yeah.
So it's more than we're used to getting, but at the same time, it's less than what we've gotten this year as far as Marvel TV shows are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, even in other Marvel, like even in the Marvel movies of Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, by what would be the first third of those movies, we had a general idea of where the plot was going.
Yeah.
With this, we're in the first third and we still don't know. Even by Loki, we kind of knew where things were going within the first third.
Yeah.
Which was in the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, it is very clear, okay, there's something fucked up with this world. Like, people are trying to get in from the outside, they're trying to contact Wanda. Like, clearly there's something wrong, and we're gonna find out what's truly going on here. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're learning, okay, there's this terrorist group out here, and they got a super soldier serum. What the hell happened? With Loki, by the second episode, we meet Sylvie for the first time, and we're like, oh boy, we're gonna have Loki dealing with his female counterpart. What If is a little different because it was an anthology series, but our second episode was the Star-Lord T'Challa episode.
Yeah.
Which was like, The second one where how like we have some what ifs that are a little like pretty close to the original source, but then we have another what if that is just completely separate.
Yeah,
L-
like, and as far as Hawkeye is concerned, what has happened in these first two episodes? We have we have a ambush at an auction, and the next episode and a half is Hawkeye and Kate Bishop trying to recover from it, and then Hawkeye trying to get captured. Like,
yeah,
we don't really have an indication of where the plot is going per se. So I see what you're saying, and
yeah.
we don't have any leads.
Yeah, because it very much feels that like, and I know they're gonna tie it together, but it really feels disjointed. The Kate, Eleanor, Armand plot and the Hawkeye tracksuit mafia, Ronin plot. Like it feels very separate because like so far, the only connections we've seen is when they attack when the tracksuit mafia attacked the auction, and both Armand and Jack did not seem prepared to see these people, which kind of makes it feel like it's separate. Because like the most we get is that Jack steals the Ronin sword because he's like free sword, and Armand is like, "Get me the fuck out of here! There are people with guns." And I'm like, I still have yet to see the paths cross over again.
Yeah.
Because like Hawkeye himself isn't worried about the Armand murder. Like he doesn't care about it like Kate does.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like the excuse to have her go rescue Clint was good enough, but you're kind of like, does Clint even did you even mention the Armand? I think she did mention the Armand murder to Clint, but did he even acknowledge it as part of the puzzle? And so I'm kind of just I don't know. I
The
feel I'm a little let down, kind of in a way, more substance with two episodes.
yeah, like I I can relate to what you mean with us not really getting left with a lot to work on. Like
Yeah,
the most we can theorize about is Eleanor.
yeah. It's Eleanor, and is Kingpin gonna show up? Because this is obviously based off of the Matt Fraction run of the comics, and in the comics, the auction that was barged in on was an auction that Kingpin was a part of, where they were auctioning Hawkeye acting as the Ronin, killing a head of state. And I mean, we've already gone through the auction scene, and so far with the trailers, we haven't seen another one.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, how's this gonna work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm,
'Cause
I'm hopeful that it'll turn it around. We still have 4 episodes left. I'm just kind of a little worried.
because with the second episode, like so far, like I mean, I hate this trend because it's such an abuse of the audience, but most of the other shows have left us with cliffhangers. Now, like now that we're left on episode 2 of this series, we're like, okay, we see random girl, but like the audience don't know. Like we know it's going to be Echo, but the general audience does not know.
Yeah, we just know this is the boss.
And that's all we're left with.
And the problem,
And now I am in a hypocritical stance where I feel like I'm suffering withdrawal from cliffhangers
yeah,
now.
like I feel like I feel like in other shows where they hype up like the villain when the two care when they finally meet the villain, there's kind of a bit of a setup. Like in WandaVision, like Agatha and Wanda are friends. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we see the Flag Smashers in episode 1. In Loki, we hear about the Timekeepers all the time. Like they're very much set up. What If is an anthology series,
It
but it
slowly led up to what would come the grand finale of episode
yeah.
9.
But in this, we like to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of thought that the boss was Ivan because of his just different tracksuit and the way he kind of took command. I kind of thought he was the boss,
Yeah.
and that clown was just like a special enforcer. So when they're like the boss, and I'm like, oh, there,
Now,
there, there is another boss.
what I'm really hoping for, and I couldn't tell this because of how most of the shots were lit in this episode, in these two episodes.
Yeah.
But I really hope they embrace the silliness and give different ranks, different colored tracksuits. Like intentionally ranking grunts under
Oh
bosses
my
and all the
god!
different ones, different color tracksuits. Like just embrace the silly. Like
I
this is a little bit more of a silly like series than the rest of the shows.
Yeah.
I want them to go all out on the tracksuit mafia.
Honestly, I think we may get that because of the fact that Enrique is a lower level member and he wears the red tracksuit, but Ivan has a black tracksuit.
Exactly.
And Clown has like I believe he doesn't wear a tracksuit.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a tracksuit, which shows he's kind of outside the organization, and obviously Echo's not going to wear a tracksuit.
Yeah.
But
Kate Bishop was beat up by mostly red tracksuit wearing grunts.
yeah,
So I really want this. Just make it happen.
who knows? Remember in Loki, we did see a Skrull in a blue tracksuit. We may get a blue tracksuit member. And what if it is a Skrull?
Because I mean, this is already like a super like not super silly, but it's sillier than what we're used to in the MCU. I mean, we've got an animal sidekick. We've got the villainous group labeled the Tracksuit Mafia.
Yeah.
Like this is going
Like
to be a little,
like
little
even
bit
yes,
it's going to be a little bit sillier than the norm that we're used to.
even Laura was like, the tracksuit mafia, what do those idiots want? Which, one, confirms to me Clint told Laura everything, and two, she is perfectly fine staying with a man that brutally murdered criminals in an act of revenge across the world for nearly 5 years.
I mean, he was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
True, true.
He, he,
He was basically a government assassin. This is just
like this wouldn't be
this went from state-sponsored terrorism to individual terrorism.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, he's killed so many people.
Yeah.
Agents, aliens, assassins. Yeah. One thing I did enjoy was seeing how Clint went deaf.
Yeah.
Which is basically all of his notable scenes, including the notable scene where he does the where he like repels himself from the top into the building. The scene that Kate sees. That is one of the first instances of him actually experiencing hearing loss. Was shattering that glass. And then getting blasted by Hydra. And then the ship exploding in Age of Ultron. And then getting absolutely fucking demolished by Thanos' ship in Endgame. Lord knows how he survived getting blown up like that.
Man, just let my boy retire, please.
Honestly.
Like, he's saved enough.
Also, I wonder.
Like, he tried to retire in Civil War. This was... And this... No, this takes place in 2023. So this man tried to retire 8 years ago.
Yeah.
This man is
dragging him back.
This man is 8 years late to his retirement. And he is so close. He just really just he made the promise to his family and he only sees a path that leads to him not fulfilling that promise.
Pretty much. There was one other thing I want to say. Oh yeah, so in the Matt Fraction comic, we see there's an entire issue which is done from the perspective of Lucky the Pizza Dog. And that issue is actually really famous. It's won a whole bunch of awards for being one of the best single issues ever. Do you think we'll get an episode entirely from Lucky's perspective? Because in the comics, Lucky originally was a dog owned by Vlad of the Tracksuit Mafia. And then he found his way into Clint. So do you think we're going to get, like, an episode from Lucky's perspective?
That seems like a bit much considering this is only 6 episodes
know.
long.
I thought we.
If anything, we'll get a fight sequence in his perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most we can ever get with the kind of episode limitation that we have.
I feel like if we had like 8 or 10 episodes, we definitely would have gotten an episode from Lucky's perspective.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's so short, and I'm surprised it's so short. Like,
I mean,
this is Hawkeye, one of the original 6 Avengers, and he got
and
6 episodes, but
Falcon got was it 8 or 9?
I think it was 8.
Yeah, which mind you
that was about 2 characters,
and that's still an hour and a half more content.
Yeah,
that's still a movie from the early 2000s amount of movie.
Yeah. Either way, I think we've kind of exhausted every point about the show.
Let's not turn this into another we talk about Marvel for an entire hour and a half again.
Yeah, we're running up on the 45-minute mark anyways.
And we have a very bad habit of just ranting about Marvel for more than is necessary.
That's true. But that just also goes to show how much we love Marvel.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm going to be honest, a little disappointed. But I'm keeping my expectations in check, and knowing that potentially the next 4 episodes can give greater context to these past 2 episodes, and it may enhance the series at large. Ugh.
Yeah. Overall, God, we really got to stop saying that. We need to stop saying that.
We need to find a different word to say. In conclusion.
So, in summary, I do think that I'm going to keep my expectations a little higher, actually. I do see this actually growing, because they need to put a lot in these episodes in order to warrant its existence. So I'm looking forward to it, mostly because we haven't really gotten anything bad out of the MCU, and don't believe the critics when they talk about Eternals.
Yeah.
I don't really see this being an L for the MCU. I don't think that's where this is going.
I would say it would only be an L if we get a WandaVision level ending.
Yeah. Because
if we get a WandaVision level ending, then I think this would be the first show since Inhumans that really flopped.
Yeah, because the only reason WandaVision was good was because of the first half. The
setup was beautiful.
The setup for everything was amazing. It's just what we got at the end was very disappointing.
Yes. Now, before we go on another tangent about WandaVision, there's one other Marvel thing that I think we should just bring up, which is if you are on TikTok, the Daily Bugle has a TikTok, which is going to be, I guess, uploading in-universe news info about the lead up to No Way Home,
which is not new as a marketing scheme, because we did get news interviews like this for Ant-Man.
Yeah, for Ant-Man and for Civil War.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but basically it's with Betty Brant being an unpaid intern for the Daily Bugle, and low-key being very salty about the fact that she's not getting paid for this job. And so far, there's been 3 TikToks. The TikTok went up today. So just type in, I guess, Daily Bugle on TikTok, and there's a little bit of Marvel content for you, and free of charge.
Yeah.
Other than that, the other Marvel stuff is just more extended looks at No Way Home, like the Electro suit potentially having an arc reactor, and all that other stuff. But overall,
I do like that the TikTok is being kind of overt with the fact that it's a base for unhinged conspiracy theories.
That is pretty good. I do like that. I do like how Betty's just like, yes, please give us your unfounded conspiracy theories about Spider-Man. Because remember, in universe, she knows Peter is Spider-Man, and she's friends with him. She was there during Far From Home. She was there when
yeah.
And I believe we see her in that slow walk up to the courthouse where it's Ned and Peter and MJ. I believe it's Ned, Peter, MJ, Betty, and Flash.
Yeah, I do remember seeing Flash. I don't remember seeing her, but I believe you on that.
I feel like she would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's our Marvel segment. Um, let's move